Well, good morning and welcome to the show. Jeff Beals here at your service. We are brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center along with Cheer Athletics. Thank you for joining us. This is the only show in the metro area that talks about business expansion, real estate, construction, new restaurants, new retailers, really anything related to Omaha becoming more vibrant and more prosperous. Without any further ado, it's time to bring on my co-host, a man who is a legendary real estate deal maker and all-around legend in the flesh, Trenton Magid.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, Jeff.
Well, good morning. And did you have a difficult drive into the studio this morning?
I did not. We're supposed to get 1 to 2 inches, according to our fine newsman.
1 to 2 inches. That is correct.
Thank you. And
well, we already have some, though. I mean, there was some this morning. It was a little bit snowy driving into the studio this morning.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It wasn't slippery. Like last night, it was a little slick on the sidewalks.
You know, we made it all the way till about, what was it, February 11th or February 12th or something like that before we got our first snow of the season, which is great. But now we're really getting it all at once.
So I feel for those snow contractors.
Know that they were losing all that money.
Yeah, and some apartment owners and commercial property owners, what they do is they'll have a contract. They'll share the risk. So they'll say to the vendor saying, hey, you got all these trucks and everything. We'll pay you this much a month or this much for the season. And whether it snows or not, if there's huge blizzards, the contractor loses and the apartment owners win. But if there's no snow, the apartment contractors or the apartment owners could have done a lot better.
Well, not to change the subject, but here goes. We've got a restaurant review this week. Our restaurant reviews are all brought to you by Allmakes, the outstanding office equipment, office furniture provider based at around 25th and Farnham Street in Omaha with locations elsewhere in Nebraska and even over in Des Moines, Iowa. At any rate, this week, Chris Corey reviews Blue Sushi. This is the Blue Sushi that used to be called Baby Blue and the Legacy area southwest of 168th and Center. They recently took down 2,000 square feet of space in the neighboring bay, made it a much bigger restaurant. As they like to say, Baby Blue is all grown up now, and it's a Blue Sushi.
Full blue.
Full blue. Anyway, really, really good. I was actually there Saturday night with some friends and really, really enjoyed it. We sat at the bar. They've got an awesome mural on the east side of the wall that depicts Godzilla attacking downtown Omaha, among other things. He's not really attacking it, but he's kind of got that look in his eye like, I'm going to do to you what I once did to Tokyo.
Yeah, I hear you. And that is my, if they had a Blue Sushi in each parish, as some people call the different parts of Omaha, that would be my parish.
Parish, isn't that kind of like a Louisiana thing, their word for counties?
That's county, but in Omaha, in the Catholic community at least, don't they talk about what parish do you live in?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was a Mary or a Queen guy myself. But anyway, not to digress too much, you can find all of our restaurant reviews, including the most recent one that Chris wrote about Blue Sushi, by going to growomaha.com and clicking on reviews on the navigation bar. All right, let's get into our news of the week. We have basically the whole show is going to be a lot of news today. We're going to have news on pretty much all 4 segments. So the first news of the week is brought to you by Eagle Mortgage, eaglemortgagecompany.com. It is operated by Holly Schneidewin and her team of mortgage broker experts. And mortgage broker is the key word. These are not bankers. They're mortgage brokers, which means they shop the market at Eagle Mortgage to find the best lending solution for you. So you're thinking about getting a new house. Doesn't matter whether you're going to go conventional, FHA, VA. They also do some specialty loans. They match you with the best bank that they can find for you. They sit down with you, explain the process. And then, of course, now that we're getting into house buying season, now that we're in the second half of February, thank God, a lot of people are starting to look at houses, and you want to get that pre-approval letter from Eagle Mortgage. It's like having a sword and a shield when you go into the home buying competition process. All right, well, without any further ado, let's get into it. The first news item, Trenton, has to do with Eppley Airfield. Come Monday, February 17th, the entire central portion of the terminal will be closed for quite a period of time, including level 2, which is currently open. So basically the terminal is split in half. And the reason for this is the middle parts all got to go because it's going to be rebuilt as the central pavilion. When that central pavilion opens in a year or two, it will contain the combined TSA security checkpoint, as well as what's going to be kind of like a miniature shopping mall food court area where they'll have, Starbucks and all sorts of retailers and all that sort of thing. So this is basically a price to progress, but just so people understand, Trenton, you've got to know which one of the two terminals your airline is in. So if you're flying on Southwest, United, or Allegiant, go to the North Terminal. If you're flying on American, Delta, Alaska, or Frontier Airlines, go to the South. Once you're in the terminal, you won't be able to cross over.
I've got a great way for people to remember that.
How?
USA, United, Southwest, and Allegiant
Good.
is on the north side.
On the north.
And American, Delta, what else we got over there?
Alaska and Frontier. So you don't even remember.
Yeah.
No, but the whole reason you're saying this is to help people remember.
Yeah, good point.
But your USA one for the north is great, but you got to work on your South terminal.
Yeah, and you got to know that Allegiant is north, and it's not Alaska.
That's true, yeah. But other than that, I think your little trick for remembering that is great.
Yeah. Or if you fly Southwest and United a lot, just remember us.
There you go. This is a price of progress, though, like I say. So as you're going there, it's a little bit of a pain in the butt. There's no doubt about that. But just remember, this is the price of progress. It's going to be awesome. The whole full-blown expansion and modernization won't be done till 2028. But it's my understanding we'll be using parts of the new terminal as early as 2026. So bear with it. It's going to be awesome when it's done. It's going to be a little tricky while it's underway.
And I think they've done a good job with signage and wayfinding and dropping people off, as well as picking people up.
Another thing they've been good at is the speed of the project so far. They are moving fast, and they're doing this while keeping open an airport that runs 5.5 million passengers a year through it. It's pretty impressive. You got to give the airport authority and their contractors a lot of credit for the job that they're doing. Well, demolition is now underway on the old Park Fair Mall at 16th and Douglas Street. And if you don't know what the Park Fair Mall is, or you're thinking to yourself, I've never heard of this Park Fair Mall.
It was never successful.
Well, I was just going to say it means you're young. But if you're about 40 or above, you probably have an idea what the Park Fair Mall was. It was actually an enclosed shopping mall that for a short period of time had all of the name brand retailers of the day back in the 1980s.
Name one or two.
Whatever the retailers were of the day back in the 1980s. I don't remember what they were, but they didn't have it was never anchored.
We were in junior high and high school then.
Correct. It was never anchored, though. It was always just like if you compare it to the Westroads, it would be like a bunch of shops in the middle, not the anchors on the end. But it was when it first opened, the occupancy, if I remember correctly, was pretty close to full. But toward the end, I think the only thing that was open was a Runza in the basement food court and a Walgreens on the other side. And then they turned it into indoor parking for many, many years. And it was really a very inefficient indoor parking space because it was an old mall. You could only put so many cars in it. But now it's coming down, being torn down. In its place will be a 10 to 12 story building. I say 10 to 12 because if you're on the south side of that block, it'll look like 10. If you're on the north side, it'll look like 12 because of a grade change. The bottom 7 levels will be a City of Omaha-owned parking garage. The top 5 levels will be apartment units, 150 of them in total, and they will be part of the overall Duo, which is a 700 apartment unit, which includes the Twin Towers attached to it toward the east. So it's all part of the Duo, but you got to get rid of this Park Fair Mall in order to build this 10 to 12 story building.
It'll be interesting to see what the views are at those apartments.
Probably not a ton of them because to the east, you'll have the taller Twin Towers.
Exactly.
To the west, you've got the Brandeis building. the historic New York Life building that's now occupied by Kutak Rock, and then just beyond that, the Woodman Tower. So you'll be able to see some, but it's not like you're going to
feel like you're in the city.
Yeah, it'll be a very urban view, not sweeping vistas. But if you're in the Twin Towers, some of the views there will be sweeping. Unless you're at east face, you'll be right up against the Mutual of Omaha Tower. But like you say, it'll be an urban feel. If you're going for that urban look, you'll have that. All right, next up, we have topping out taking place. Topping out is when the final steel beam is installed on a building, whether it be an office building, a hospital or something like that. Well, topping out took place recently at the University of Nebraska Medical Center's CORE building. That stands for Campus Operations and Research Excellence, CORE building. And this is a $105 million project on the southwest corner of Farnham Street and Saddle Creek Road. It is part of the Edge District, 30 acres, UNMC's new 30-acre west campus west of Saddle Creek Road. This core building will open in mid-2026, 6 stories. It's looking great. I've been told, Trenton, that we can expect to hear more announcements about projects on UNMC's Edge District campus very soon.
We love that. We're going to stop covering any project that's less than $100 million on this show.
You know what? We could cover only $100 million projects, and we would have stuff to talk about every week.
Right, but we're not going to do that.
No, we talk about little projects because some little projects actually have an outsized impact on the city and on the built environment.
No question about it.
All right, and finally, developers are planning a mixed-use subdivision southwest of 192nd and West Maple Road. The planning board approved a preliminary plat that would divide what is currently an undeveloped greenfield site into 12 lots for commercial development and then 20 acres for multifamily development. And so if you're trying to picture, all right, 192nd and West Maple Road, if you're there on the southeast corner is a Holiday Inn and a nice retail area. This would be the southwest corner, so just west of that. If I remember correctly, if I'm picturing it right, there's some pretty steep grades.
Yes.
The land is a little steep in there, so I'm sure they'll have plenty of grading to do. But 12 commercial development lots and 20 acres of apartments. So that area is filling in nicely. And with that, we conclude your News of the Week brought to you by Eagle Mortgage. The good news is there's a lot more news to share with you. There's so much going on this week that we're pretty much just going to pack the entire show with a bunch of news stories, but we'll make sure Trenton gives you his opinions on all of them. I might throw mine in there as well. You're listening to Grow Omaha. It's brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center along with Cheer Athletics, and we'll be back soon on News Radio 1110 KFAB. And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beal sitting next to Trenton Magid. We're brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center along with Cheer Athletics. And I tell you, if you're looking for a great way for your kid to get involved in a competitive activity that will improve their confidence, their physical fitness, and their self-esteem, you want Cheer Athletics. It's located in Papillion near Highway 50 and 370. And Omaha is one of only, just maybe 12 to 15 cities that have Cheer Athletics. It's the Cadillac of the All-Star Cheer revolution or movement, if you will. And I call it that because it's getting so popular, it's even going to become an Olympic sport in 2028. At any rate, you can find out more by going to CA Omaha, CA as in Cheer Athletics, caomaha.com. All right, well, we still have a lot of news to share with you today, so we're going to kind of do a News of the Week Part 2, and let's just kind of pick up with where we left off, and that is we've got more development coming to Heartwood Preserve. Heartwood Preserve is the 500-acre development that is on the old Boys Town West Farm and the old DeMarco Farm. It is west of 144th Street, starts at Dodge and goes south to about Pine, I think it is, several blocks south of Pacific.
And it goes right past and surrounds Miller North.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so what we're talking about now would be south of Miller North. So the southwest corner of 144th and Pacific. At that point in that area, developers are seeking approval To build another part of Heartwood Preserve, there would be 2 medical office buildings totaling 180,000 square feet, as well as 6 standalone retail buildings, a 5,500 square foot restaurant, and a 2-story, 120,000 square foot mixed-use building that would have ground floor retail, a parking garage, and multifamily units on the second floor. So this is already a huge development area, Trenton. It's about ready to become more huge. And this would be very close to the Applied Underwriters headquarters that is still under construction. By the way, sometimes people ask us, is that
all the time?
Is that project still go? Yes, it is. It's my understanding that it is so complicated and so beautiful and so top notch that it's just taking forever. I just talked to someone this week about it, and they are
5 years or something.
Yeah, and part of that was they
shifted it with COVID.
Yeah, they completely changed a lot, and they had to reevaluate once the pandemic hit. So,
and when you have 1,100 parking stalls all underground, that's different.
So at any rate, this project on the southwest corner of 144th and Pacific, Heartwood Preserve, keeps growing and growing.
And what's interesting about that southwest corner is there's a big meandering sidewalk and kind of a ravine, if you will. And then it kind of goes up. There'll be a lot of grading there as well.
Oh, yeah. It's
and the DeMarco's house is, I don't know if they've taken that down yet.
They did take that down
They finally
recently.
taken it out. That thing stayed up forever. Part of the deal was, I think, that they could stay in that house like to the very end, which they probably did.
And when the scrapers are right outside your back window, it might be time.
After you remove your driveway.
St. Cecilia Cathedral is embarking on a campaign to construct an outdoor plaza and memorial garden. It's an $8.2 million project. And actually, it fulfills the original vision of the renowned architect and designer Thomas Kimball, who died in 1934 and did not live to see the cathedral's completion. So fundraising is underway, and construction will hopefully begin this summer.
I wonder what the budget was for the original building.
A lot less than $8.2 million, I can guarantee you that. All right, big story coming out of the University of Nebraska. The system, which is the 4 campuses, UNL, UNO, UNK, and UNMC, released the results of an economic impact study. Went on for several months, very in-depth, very thorough. Turns out the NU system generates $6.4 billion annually and supports 1 in every 20 Nebraska jobs. The university produces 11,000 graduates each year, with 1 in 7 working-age Nebraskans holding a degree from one of the 4 campuses. Now, let's talk a little specifically about this because we have 2 of the 4 campuses here in Omaha. I also want to say that the NU system is responsible for 52,000 jobs. So it's a big, big part of what we do around here. On a per-campus basis, University of Nebraska-Lincoln, the flagship campus, my alma mater, $3.1 billion impact. UNO, a $1 billion impact. UN Kearney, a $447 million impact. And now let's look at UNMC. If you look at just UNMC, the university, $1.6 billion, which is very impressive and very significant. However, UNMC is interwoven and tightly connected to Nebraska Medicine. Nebraska Medicine by itself has a $5.5 billion economic impact. Put UNMC and its clinical partner Nebraska Medicine together, and we're talking about here in Omaha a $7.1 billion impact on top of the billion that comes from UNO.
And $1 billion impact on the city of Omaha, the state of Nebraska.
Just its impact, which would primarily be the state of Nebraska.
Okay. Did they get any in-depth as far as like the graduates that stay in Nebraska versus they leave?
Somewhat, because the study was pretty lengthy, and it's all available online. But yeah, we do export a lot of our graduates, but on the other hand, too, the thing we have to keep in mind, we pull in so many people.
A lot of researchers.
Yeah, I think I mentioned this to you recently, but about 2 weeks ago, I had a meeting with a young guy who does marketing for a company. They were interested in advertising on one of our Grow Omaha platforms, and I met him for coffee. And Sharp guy, good guy. He was from Illinois, and he had just graduated from Lincoln, University of Nebraska-Lincoln, and was talking to him. I said, hey, how'd the Illinois guy end up at UNL? And he's like, yeah, it was actually cheaper for me to pay out-of-state tuition at UNL than it was at the University of Illinois in Champaign-Urbana.
In-state tuition.
Yeah, and he's like, I wanted to maybe try something new, so I decided to come out here. Great experience, and now he's living in Omaha. He stayed here, and he goes, oh, by the way, my girlfriend is from Minnesota. Same story. Came here because it was a better deal than going to the U in Minneapolis, and now she's staying in Omaha. So there's an example of the university bringing in a lot of talent that sticks around, even though we are known for exporting some of our homegrown talent.
Somebody said that if you're from Nebraska or Kansas, they have reciprocal agreements for in-state tuition for like KU and
Who was
Nebraska.
this somebody?
Well, I don't know if it's factual, so don't tell your child that, and don't take that to the bank. So do your own research, but I'd be surprised.
I know they have certain things with certain places. I mean, UNO, not too terribly
Maybe it's
long
based
ago.
on grade point or something like that.
Yeah, didn't UNO do a thing terribly?
Says the
not too
guy who
terribly
has
long
no
ago?
kids.
With Western Iowa or something like that. But yeah, there are various types of arrangements that they have that will give certain people good deals inside other universities or other states' universities. At any rate, that's what we've got for right now, but we're just getting warmed up. Still a lot of things to discuss on today's show, but we've got a break for the news. And when we come back, we have our Noddle Company's Commercial Real Estate Development Spotlight of the Week. We're also going to talk to you about Grow Omaha's visit to the new behavioral health hospital at Children's Nebraska. So many things coming. Stay with us. You're listening to the show brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and Cheer Athletics. Back in a moment on News Radio 1110 KFAB. And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beals and Trenton Maggot are here in the KFAB studio high above Underwood Avenue in beautiful downtown Dundee. In fact, it's the Penthouse studio. Nevertheless, we are brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and Cheer Athletics, and you want to keep Dingman's front of mind. You hope you don't get into an accident. You hope you don't get a door ding. You hope someone just doesn't key your car. But sometimes those things happen. And when they do, you've got Dingman's in your back pocket and on your side. Dingman's has 4 metro area locations, Northwest O, Southwest O, Midtown on Saddle Creek, in Papillion. And they all do a great job. And the Dingman's family, Trenton and I know them well, and we really believe in them, and we respect them, and we value them, and we know you will too if you need their services. Dingman's Collision Center, one of our sponsors of Grow Omaha. Well, it's time for your Noddle Company's Commercial Real Estate Development Spotlight of the Week. This is when Trenton and I talk about projects happening in or near one of the many Noddle Companies projects in town. And you should know that Noddle Companies has a lot of them. Exarban Village, Builders District in North Downtown, Rivers Edge and Council Bluffs, Steel Ridge and Papillion Gretna, the Village Point West Medical Campus, and of course they're famous for building headquarters buildings, Valmont, HDR, so many others. And for many years they were doing shopping centers. Noddle Companies is really one of the true premier commercial real estate and residential real estate developers in America. Well, today we talk about one of their projects that you've definitely heard of, Exarban Village.
Heard of it?
Perhaps their most high-profile Omaha project. And in Exarban, got a couple news items for you. First of all, The Grove is opening a new location at Interrail Food Hall. Interrail Food Hall is just east of the HDR headquarters. If you haven't been there, you need to get there. It's
Parking
awesome.
Covered parking right at the door.
FREE free, too. No charge for parking at Exarban Village. And in the Interrail, they bring a lot of restaurants in and out. It's kind of like an incubator of restaurants, maybe where a startup will try things or an existing restaurateur will test a new concept.
Such as
All-American Burger.
All-American Burger, Alex Harrington, who has 8 Pickleman's restaurants, knows how to run a restaurant, and I would like this maybe even better than a Shake Shack if some of you who travel, but they have unbelievable burgers and fries. Hopefully they got the shake machine in. I'm not sure if they do or not, but these burgers, the bread I think comes from New York. The whole thing, you can get great cheeseburgers, double burgers, whatever. It's fast, quality. But try All American Burger. It is tasty. Tell them Jeff Spicoli sent you.
And with that, the Grove is opening a new location inside the Interrail Food Hall. We know that the opening will be in March. The Grove is a local cold-pressed juice and wellness cafe. They do have an existing location downtown Omaha, 2401 Farnham Street. So keep your eye out for Grove when you go today and try All American Burger. And that's your Noddle Company's commercial real estate development spotlight of the week. You can learn more about Noddle by going to noddlecompanies.com. Well, Omaha is hosting a massive volleyball tournament right now. It started Thursday. It goes through Monday. It's called the ASICS President's Day Classic Volleyball Tournament, 21st year here in Omaha. And this year sold out. 570 teams registered from all over the United States and Canada. 13,000 attendees if you count the players and their family members. More than 10,100 hotel room nights have been booked, and these players are competing in the CHI Health Center Omaha, in the Union Bank and Trust Sports Complex in Elkhorn, and Iowa West Field House in Council Bluffs. So this is truly, Trenton, one of those citywide conventions, citywide events, and it goes to show you why we have to keep having great facilities for youth sports, because there's a hell of a lot of money in youth sports.
My guess is this was a lot smaller 21 years ago when they started it, and we've grown venues as they've grown the event.
That's a good point. And of course, we are in the volleyball capital of the planet. So my guess is people probably, or teams are even more excited about coming here for a tournament because this is volleyball central, right? Where we've got a city of 1 million people, has 2 pro teams, and basically, it's not even basically, it's clearly the nation's #1 collegiate volleyball program in Lincoln, and nothing even comes close.
And even in college, you don't hear about sellouts in volleyball, but Nebraska seems to sell it out down at the Devaney Center.
Well, the Harney Street reconstruction project has been delayed because of the crappy weather this weekend. Demolition of the bridge over Interstate 480 was supposed to start last week, but the start date keeps getting delayed. We've got the weather today. It's supposed to be ferociously cold in the next few days. And so basically this is on a little bit of a temporary hold, but the deal here is the Harney Street Bridge has got to come down. It's over 60 years old, and it needs to be sturdier, a little more stout to accommodate streetcar traffic, because it will be one of the bridges that carries the streetcar over the interstate. Next year, the same thing will happen to the Farnham Street Bridge, because Farnham will carry westbound streetcar traffic and Harney will carry eastbound streetcar traffic. Anyway, that demo should go fast. It sounds like they should have the bridge down really in a few days, but of course the construction will take all of the year to rebuild the new Harney Street Bridge. And then also, speaking of the streetcar, at the February meeting, the Omaha Streetcar Authority discussed some additional work that needs to be done. Looks like we're getting close to the vehicle maintenance facility construction starting. The authority also did a 30-month lease with the property owner of an undeveloped site at the northeast corner of 40th and Harney to be used as a laydown yard. That's basically where they'll store equipment and supplies to build the streetcar. This is right on the south side of the Blackstone District. Like the main part of the Blackstone District is Farnham, so this would be 40th and Harney. I want people to know this, because if you're driving by and you're saying, oh my gosh, they're going to finally build something on that lot there. Well, not for at least another 30 months, because that's going to be outdoor storage and staging area for streetcar construction. Hopefully after that, though, they'll build a building on that site because it desperately needs
Coming
it.
together.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached that point in the show, the moment that you've all been waiting for, and that is a commercial break. Well, after the commercial break, we're going to have the Perkins Kreitzer Construction Lightning Round, in which we talk about a lot of things in a very short period of time, and it's a very good list. So stay with us. You don't want to miss any of it. You're listening to Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and cheer athletics. Trenton and I will be back in a moment on News Radio 1110 KFAB. And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beals and Trenton Maggot at your service, and this is the Perkins Kreitzer Construction Lightning Round, in which we talk about a lot of things in a very short period of time. And we are very grateful to Perkins Kreitzer Construction for making this possible. They are an outstanding Class A full-service general construction contractor. They serve the entire area, not just the metro, but they go into Iowa, up to Sioux City. They go out to North Platte, and really everything in between. And they do an outstanding job. Dave Kreitzer, our friend, is the guy who runs the place, and Dave has so much experience, and he's assembled this team of project managers and superintendents and laborers and everyone else, so many of whom have been in the business for decades and decades. What it means for you, if you're thinking about building a new building, or you have to improve a tenant space, or you need any construction services at all, you're getting a great team and you're getting a good deal when you work with Perkins Kreitzer Construction. P-C construction.com. That's P-C construction.com. Well, Brad Williams, who works with us a lot here on Grow Omaha, renowned photographer, he took a tour, a media sneak peek day at the Children's Behavioral Health Hospital. It's coming along great, this $114 million project near 85th and West Dodge Road. It's essential to Omaha's future because of our mental health crisis that we're dealing with, especially in kids and adolescents. If you want to see some of those pictures, Brad has posted 13 of them on the Grow Omaha Facebook page. Just go to the Grow Omaha Facebook page, scroll down a little bit, and you can see Brad's photos inside and out as construction proceeds on the Behavioral Health Center at Children's Nebraska. Well, we have a new restaurant coming to Midtown Crossing, believe it or not. It is Mazza Middle Eastern Cuisine. Mazza, M-A-Z-Z-A, Mazza Middle Eastern Cuisine, going into the former Sofra Kitchen space at 220 South 31st Avenue, and looks like they'll be opening in early summer. No word on whether they have inexplicably cold eggs there. Moving right along.
I never got to try that.
The Sofra?
Yeah, I never got to, so hopefully this will be better.
You weren't there the day we did the live remote, were you?
Nope.
That's right. You were out of town that day.
I had band practice.
Okay. At any rate, Nectar Juice Bar plans to open its first Nebraska location in the former Phoenix Pool and Spa space at 1405 South 204th Street. Shannon and Jeff Salem will be the local franchisees. Now, Nectar is based in California. It's an award-winning juice bar concept. Now, of course, they have the smoothies and the acai bowls, healthy snacks. 200 locations nationwide. The company was founded in 2020. The closest existing locations are in Kansas City and Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
A lot of juice concepts.
People love that now. I mean, the juice, the smoothies, the acai bowls.
There's got to be a lot of sugar in that stuff, don't you think?
I would think.
And a lot of it.
But I think if some people that really do the healthy juices, like they make that their meal.
Right.
See, the problem with me, if I go to those places, it's an add-on,
right? Exactly.
To the lunch I'm going to eat anyway. But if you make
it doesn't even count as dessert.
If you make it your meal, though, it's probably very healthy to go to those places. So this is an interesting choice for a restaurant name. It's called No Good.
Yeah,
K-N-O-W.
Totally changes the name.
Yeah, K-N-O-W, good. So which means it's probably very good.
You know good.
And we know it's good because it's a concept from the owner of Sweet Magnolia's Bake Shop. And they're going to open this spring at 3528 Center Street. This is the former Sunnyside on Center restaurant, and they're referring to the restaurant as a brunchette. I like that word, a brunchette. And it has operated full-time at Archetype Coffee in Little Bohemia since January of 23, and will continue there after opening the 35th and Center location, but it'll have bagels, sandwiches, and a small cafe menu.
I wonder if they'll have like a singer for like Sunday brunches, and they'll sing in the brunchetto.
Or maybe they'll call the singers the brunchettes.
I like it.
And hopefully they have backup singers as well, because if you have a band called the Brunchettes, you need like 3 backup singers all singing in the same microphone.
The doo-wop.
Gambino's Pizza has opened in Gretna 117 Bryan Street, translated in English, that's just off highways 36 6 and 31 rather. And so it's open now. And then there's another Gambino's Pizza coming to 3020 South 32nd Street in the former Lo Sole Mio banquet space. Gambino's Pizza has locations in Kansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, and in Nebraska. They have them in Fremont, Kearney, and North
Bend. Have you tried them?
Never.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
Yeah, we'll have to go check it out. It's open right now.
We cannot endorse it right now.
Yeah, we're not endorsing, nor are we criticizing because we've never tried it. Okay, Home Goods, Sierra Trading Post, and Ross Dress for Less are going into a building at Manawa Power Center in Council Bluffs. The building had been occupied on one side by Gordman's, on the other by Toys R Us. This building is located between an existing Walmart and Home Depot. The spaces are under renovation. Home Goods and Sierra are part of the same company that also has TJ Maxx. Ross Dress for Less, I believe, is separately owned. And at any rate, these will be new for Council Bluffs. They all have locations in Omaha, but these will be the first of their kind in Council Bluffs. All right, Trenton, we have Jo-Ann Fabrics closing a lot of their stores nationwide and a couple in the metro.
It's definitely changing the fabric of Omaha.
And the stores closing are
especially
Bellevue.
Council Bluffs and Bellevue.
Yeah, Council Bluffs and Bellevue. The one in Omaha at 132nd and Center will stay open. Now, it's a rough week for the owners of Crush Ultra Lounge, formerly known as Throwback Arcade Lounge. 14th and Howard, downtown Omaha. City Council this week voted 6-0 to recommend revocation of their liquor license following fights, a shooting. So they got some issues. No final decision has been made because that rests with the Nebraska Liquor Control Commission. Crush plans to appeal the City Council's decision.
It's a cool space. I remember going into it before, and it's a couple different stories, big outdoor patio. Noli's Pizzeria will close its Regency location inside Blue Sky Bar and Patio, 107th and Pacific part of Regency Landing. However, they will stay open at Exarban and Blackstone District. The music is playing, which means that we are finito. Hope everyone has a great weekend. I'm Jeff Beals. And I'm Trenton Magid.
You've been listening to Grow Omaha, brought to you by Perkins Kreitzer Construction, Cheer Athletics, and Dingman's Collision Center. We'll chat with you next week at 9, right here on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
If you like this video, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. And remember, Grow Omaha is not just media. This is a mission. We are trying to build up Omaha and make it an even better place. We can only do that with your help. Share this video with your friends, neighbors, and family.